Alright, how we doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Wolf, and this is going to be a little bit of a different video. A lot of people were commenting on some of the previous videos saying they love my Transmog, and I've had a couple of people say that on other characters as well, so I think what I'm going to do is start a Transmog series, where I just go through and either whichever Transmogs I make, or whichever ones people say they really like and want me to, like, cover, then I'll go through and just explain what I'm wearing, what I'm using, and how I go about getting most of it, if I remember where I got most of the items. So, in that case, let's go through my Ice Witch Transmog. This is for my Frost Mage Necromancer, which you can find the build guide for on the channel. It is a Staff Necromancer. Point being, I want to have Bifrost on one hand and the Jormag's Insight on the other. I don't have access to it just yet, because it's, of course, a massive undertaking to pull off, but the staff looks really cool and gives you a bunch of extra frost effects. So this isn't even the full, final rendition of said character. So, with that, let's get into the transmog, shall we? So some of these items I only got recently, and they will take a little bit of work. The chest piece and the shoulders I would suggest working on right now, because I got them from the Festival of the Four Winds, which is on for the next 19 days. So I got the chest piece from the annual event right here, which you can get the Cloud Cuirass from doing all of these things, which didn't take me all that long. I did it in like a day and some change on stream. So that was kind of fun. Makes you go around, do all the event stuff and what have you. And then the shoulders, the Zephyrite shawl here, I got from doing the festival dailies. So if you come down to right in here, you'll see that when you do these dailies, you'll get Favors of the Bazaar right here. So if you get these, the Favor of the Bazaar, and then you get a what is it, the Blitzbreaker here, you get the Favor of the Pavilion. If you double click these, it'll combine them both into a Favor of the Festival, and if you spend 3 Favors of the Festival, then you can get the Zephyrite Shawl. You can actually do this in one day, because you do the daily for the first one, which gives you the 2 pieces that you need, which then lets you build 1 Favor of the Bazaar. Then you go in and you do the festival for the weekly, which is somewhere in here. Which one is it? Annual. Weekly, there you go. Weekly Festival of the Four Winds. You do 200 points worth of stuff, so basically just do boss blitz, do the events. I covered the boss blitz in one of the other videos on the channel, and you'll get a favor of the festival from that. And then, yeah, the daily resets at 5 p.m. for the standard, like, daily reset due to Quaddle, and then go and get the dailies again. And you can go and pick this up from the vendor that sells the Zephyrite Shawl in the event area. So yeah, you can get both of these today. The Cloud Cuirass is really nice because the little bit of cloud on it is actually a dye channel. I didn't think it was, but yeah, it turns out it is. So you can actually go through and change the coloring on it if you want. Mess around with it. Now I have opted for a more like a deep blue color because of the infusion I have running, but I'll cover the dyes and whatnot in a second. So the other thing is the monocle. This I got from the Zephyrite event as well. I pulled from the boxes, Zephyrite supply boxes, and it just appeared in my inventory, so that was pretty cool. I want to combine this with the Dragon's Eye Infusion box here. Now this is going to take a while to get, but if I go for the left eye here, then I can have the monocle on one eye and then a cold Jormag infusion on the other eye. Now that's going to be a pain in the ass to go through, but I want to get this cloak for my other characters anyway. So that requires me to get the Dragon Eye Infusion box anyway, so as a result I'll wind up getting that, which will be really cool. So that is the monocle, the Zephyrite Shawl, and the Cloud Cuirass. Then I've got Chaos Gloves. I have these on every single character because I wasn't able to get them when I was 7 in Guild Wars 1, and really wanted them 24/7 on every character because they look cool as shit. So the moment they appeared in the Guild Wars 2 gem store, I immediately converted gold to 400 gems and bought them. So they're not in there right now, but they come back pretty much every Christmas. They're probably going to be back at Halloween when the expansion launches. So, Chaos Gloves, my general favorite gloves across the board. I have them on pretty much every character, and it's going to stay that way. And then I have the holographic Dragon Pants. Now, these literally solve a problem There's another video on the channel where I literally go through and I solve the biggest fashion problems in Guild Wars 2, and this is one of them. Because if you go to the wardrobe, I don't have everything unlocked, of course, but you'll see that there's a running problem with a lot of these. You just saw one solution right there, but you'll see there's not many pants available. And the only pants that are actually available are these ones. And they have this little back piece on them, which like flutters in the wind when you have physics on, and it looks turbo trash, not gonna lie. If they removed this little back piece from this, I'd use this on like 90% of my sets, but yeah, no, it doesn't work. So, I instead found the holographic dragon pants. The other option you can go for is the Requiem breeches, or the Elegy breeches. Those are what most like light armor characters normally wear. But those are a whole ass process to go about getting. Whereas these, if you come to this specific spot in Lion's Arch, right in here in Hooligan's Route, there's a waypoint right here, there's a little hole in the wall. You run in here and there's a Dragon Bash vendor in here. If you go to the trading post and you buy Jawbreakers, if you buy 10 of these fellas, then you can immediately go and get the Dragon Bash pants from that vendor. It will cost you 50 gold, but I mean, it's a lot easier to make 50 gold than to do a massive collection for all of the hassle and process that comes with it. And then that will get you the holographic dragon pants. And then the Blossoming Mist Shard Walkers. These are actually not that hard to get. What you need to do for these is you need to... Where's the zone? There's a zone called Dragonfall somewhere in here. I'm trying to remember where it is. Right here, Dragonfall. So, this is a map that has a meta event that runs constantly, that people farm 24/7. So if you have a teleport to friend, what you can do is join on LFG, which you go into LFG, and then go to Living World Season 4, Dragonfall, join the guy doing the key farm, fast travel in, and then you need to do 10 events in the Melandru area. So I just had the thing. So the Melandru area is this section right here. So there's going to be a group of people that are like taking over this side. Start there, do that area with them. Do 10 events, and then it will give you the base version of them. And then you come back to the Pact Command waypoint, and there's a vendor right beside you here that will use Mistborn motes and some ectos and some other stuff, and then it'll upgrade them from the standard version, which I will show you right here, which are those, and it will upgrade them into the blossomed one, which you can then go through and dye the dye channels to turn them into basically frost shards, which is what I did right here. The Mistborn motes, if you don't have enough of them, you can get them from Eye of the North. There's a conversion vendor up in Eye of the North up here, where you can turn other currencies into Mistborn motes, because you need 50 of them. You might get them just from doing the map meta, or from converting it, like I said before. And then for the weapons, what I suggest doing is if you're using any kind of dual weapon setup for the same setup, in my case I'm using 2 staves, is if you have a legendary, to transmog the alternate weapon to the legendary, and then use the legendary itself as a transmog charge infinite piece. Because with legendaries, it doesn't cost you any transmog charges to switch them between other items, which is really nice. I still think the transmog charges should get buried under the fucking church, but that's an entirely other ordeal, not gonna lie. Very outdated system, very stupid, just exists to make the money in the gem store. Not fun whatsoever. So, yeah, that is my suggestion. I'm using a Frost-forged staff here, and this is my personal favorite one that I'm working with. And the other one is a Bifrost, which I made in 3 days, which there's a video on the channel for that as well, for how I went through that journey and built myself a legendary staff. The reason I did this is because it changes your auto attack. So you'll see the standard Necromancer auto attack. We'll go and throw the Necro Grasp here. But Bifrost will throw basically a Frostbolt of sorts. It's like a rainbow Frostbolt. So if you go and get the Jormag's staff, then you'll have access to another staff that'll also throw Frostbolts as well, which is really, really nice. So, in that case, that'll give us access to our 2 Frost Staves that replace our Necro Grasp, and give us 2 Frost Bolts, allowing us to fit the Frost Mage vibe and aesthetic a little bit more. And then, of course, with the build, it's all Frost spells and all this sort of stuff, right? And then I have the Canthan Spiritualist Backpack, which I saw so many people wearing, and I was like, God, I need that. It looks way too good. It looks way too sick. And it was really funny. I converted 200 gems to buy this thing, and I set it all up for my transmog, and then I got messaged by another necromancer when I was doing a hero point train, and they said, I'm about to convert 200 gems to buy that backpack. It looks too good. And I messaged him back. I'm like, dude, I literally did that today. So the train goes on. I don't know if it's in the gem store still, but it'll probably come back at Halloween as well, because this thing probably makes them a shit ton of money. Because it is fantastically cool. So then, let's go to the dye channel, shall we? So I have Permafrost on mostly everything. And then I have Taffy dye on a lot of the other stuff here. Now this dye is a birthday exclusive. I think it's a 10-year birthday exclusive, or an 8-year birthday exclusive, something like that. My warrior is 8 years, and my thief I think is also 8 years, so it might be like a 5 to 8 year exclusive rather than 10. I don't actually remember. Something along those lines. It's from one of the birthday packs. I don't think you can buy it. Maybe you can. No, you can't. So yeah, it comes from the birthday exclusive packs. The cool thing about the birthday exclusive packs, by the way, is that if you go in and you like /wiki the pack, you can go through and see every single dye, and then you can price compare for what the most expensive dye is, and then just get crazy stuff for free. That's how I got Permafrost for free, and that's how I got Shadow Abyss, like, the ultra dirt cheap. I had to pay for one of them. I think it was, like, normal Abyss that I paid for. But Core Ice I also got for free using the same method, which is one of the other ones that I use most of the time for stuff like this. Now, I tried to match it to my infusions, as you can see here on my character. So the character looks much, much different when not infused. You can see that I still have the purple infusion on, which, it says purple infusion, by the way, but it's literally a blue infusion. Which one is it? The chest piece? And my gloves. The reverberating, polysaturating reverberating infusion purple, which comes out blue. So when you look up blue in the trading post, you literally get nothing. So yeah, that one was fun. So that is the purple infusion. That's what gives me the outline on all of this. And that outline will work on all of your armor, your character's hair. So it'll change based off hairstyle. It'll outline the monocle, outlines the, outlines the shawl. But you can see it doesn't outline my character's arms. So any skin showing, for example, won't be outlined. So if you use something like, for example, this, then the legs and whatnot won't be outlined, but this will, and this will as well. So let me go back into the dye channels here real quick, and then I'll cover the infusions and how I've made this work. Into the dye channels. So yeah, I have Taffy dye on most of the dye channels here, and then I have Permafrost in the other slots, and then I went through and I put Mountain Sky on the Cloud Cuirass so that it would meld with my infusion, and then I did Afternoon dye on the Canthan Spiritualist backpack, because I wanted to make the backpack blend with the infusion overall, because I had it be way too bright and it just kind of didn't work particularly. You can do the same thing with the Chaos Gloves if you want to, but I don't know, I kind of prefer the frost coming off my hands sort of vibe there. So yeah, that is the dye colorings, my mount. I dye my Warclaw like this with Permafrost, and then Taffy dye there as well, which looks like this. This is the Warclaw from the Wizard's Vault. So if you come through the Legacy Rewards, it's in the Godspawn season right there, so everyone can get that right now. He's a good boy. He's a good cat dog. One of the best mounts in the game, by far. Absolutely my primary mount across the board. It's way too crazy good. And then, yeah, let's go to the infusions. So I have 4 or 5 right now, I think. So I have the Arcane Flow infusion, which is also from the Wizard's Vault in here. Which if you come down here, from the Legacy Rewards, there is the Arcane Flow infusion down here. Now, I couldn't find how to make this thing work for the longest time because it's like way too blue, and like it didn't work for me whatsoever. So I just had it sitting in my bags, and I had no use for it. I had no good transmog. I put it on my druid because when you go into celestial form, you're also like blue in there. But even then, it was still too blue. So I was like, bro, this kind of sucks. And then I started making the like frost mage transmog, and I saw that there was a Winter's Heart infusion, which is the next one. This one you can buy right out of the gem store, or not out of the gem store, out of the trading post. And I realized, I was like, wait, what happens if I combine the two of them? And so what happens is the Winter's Heart infusion actually takes over the top, and then underneath it you get the Arcane Flow. So you can see the Arcane Flow pulsing underneath my character, and then the Winter's Flow infusion taking over top, or the Winter's Heart infusion, sorry, taking over the top to make my skin basically turn into ice, which is really sick. So if we go into the Blackland Trading Company here, you can literally purchase the Winter's Heart infusion for, well, there's a 120 gold one, bro. This thing dropped in price. Mine cost me 200. Ah, damn. Well, there you go. You can get 120 gold, and that'll make it so that your character will glow. Although I think I got a condition damage one. Oh no, I got a healing one. So yeah, they dropped in price. Damn. I should have waited, could have sniped it cheaper. But yeah, so that will make your character's skin glow, combined with the Arcane Flow infusion, which will make it pulse with all of the magical energy and what have you. And like I said, it will work based on how much skin your character shows. So the skimpier outfits, like the swimsuits and all that sort of stuff, will show more of the infusions. I was running this in one of the other setups as well, because, you know, it shows off everything and more, which would give you more access to the infusion showcase. And then, like I said, the reverberating infusion purple, which is also a Blackland Trading Company option. You just type purple, and it should pop up in here. I got the one that was 44 gold here for condition damage. And everyone was saying, oh, why are you so broke? It's because I spent 240 gold on infusions. I spent 40 gold on this infusion, and I spent 200 gold on the Winter's Heart, which apparently I got robbed because it's undercut by 80 gold now, so a little unfortunate. But yeah, I was at like 300 gold beforehand and chilling. And the other one that I have is, where is it? I have a Forest Wisp that I worked my ass off to get the other day. He's sitting in here somewhere. There he is, little Forest Wisp infusion. He'll pop up and he'll dance around and what have you. He's all cute. He just comes out and hangs out. And then I got a little Happy Snowball. Oh, he fucking disappeared on me. I have a little miniature that fits with the Transmog as well, who can't seem to make it up here. But I had the little Happy Snowball, which I'll show you in the mini collection here. That was my game lags. He's a little happy boy. He rolls around, follows me, and fits with the Transmog. So yeah, like I said, the purple will outline your entire character blue, which you then want to match the back piece to. So be very careful how you adjust that. Try and make it glow the same color as the purple infusion overall, even though, like I said, it comes out blue. And then I also have a rhymed Mariner's Rebreather, which will make it so that when you go underwater, you'll get surrounded by frost. The Winter's Heart also makes it so like the frost stuff like comes off you, like the stars and what have you, and the frost that's coming off my like legs and whatnot. That's the Winter's Heart infusion. So all in all, really cool. A couple of upgrades I want to go for. I want to get the Winter's Presence eventually, because this will give you literal snow all around you, which is really sick. Replaces the shoulders, obviously, but then that also changes up the transmog because then it shows more arm, which means you get more arcane flow value and more Winter's Heart value because it, you know, skin, obviously. Looks cooler because you have the frost effect, and then there's also the Jormag staff, which I'll show you very quickly before I end off the video. And let me just whisper myself. So it will look a little something like that. And then if we go in, this is my end-all be-all transmog that I don't particularly have access to just yet, which is the Jormag staff here. Let's see if I can make it Oh, I can't make it explode. If you go into Reaper Shroud, does this still work? Oh, no, not this time. But yeah, this has a bunch of frost effects on it. So you'll get like a frost effect whenever you pull out the weapon. So since I'm weapon swapping all the time to trigger my sigils, then I will be like popping off every time. Then I believe this also has like a kill effect as well. So if you kill something, it'll do like a frost burst underneath it, which looks really cool. At least I know that the hammer and stuff does that, so I assume this is probably the same. So that'll be nice and fun. And then the only other piece that I would potentially suggest adding in is instead of the Cloud Cuirass, you could go for the Ice Reaver chest piece, which is a gem store option as well, which gives you even more frost. The only reason I'm not going for this is because it's a little bit on the bulky side. I do like it, it does work, but I have 2 transmog charges, so I'm a little bit hard up right now, so I can't really experiment to see if I'm more of a fan of this. But in combination with everything, like, you would wind up with the... Actually, can I do this way? I might be able to. In combination with everything, you wind up with many frost, much cold, wow. So, yeah. That is pretty much the penultimate transmog that I'm aiming for. But that is 800 gold in Winter's Presence stuff, and then like 2300 gold plus the cost to get the skin, which is like another 250 over top. It's like 1200 if you craft it, so I might go through the process of doing that. But yeah, that is the end-all be-all transmog for the Ice Witch.